Okay, so we're going to look at Bloom's literature as it relates to the unreliable narrator. I'm going to start with that just so that we can get our bearings on. I'm sure you've discussed this in class, and it's something that everybody needs to think about when they're reading fiction. What kind of a narrator it is, what effect does it have on the story? Is the narrator a character, or he's omniscient. Um, but anyway, what we're looking for is unreliability or the credibility. Okay, so I'm going to just go with unreliable narrator. Okay, so I think these look good. Unnamed narrator, that's interesting. Here's omniscient. Okay, so I'm going to go with one of these. Okay, so as you see in Bloom's literature, all of the yellow highlighted items here are keywords that we chose. Okay, and we're just looking, getting a really good idea of what this is about. And basically, this is a very good definition. That's what's so great about Bloom's literature reference, is that it can really tell us what things mean. They can verify what we might have thought we knew about a term such as unreliable narrator, so that we can continue to do our literary criticism searching, which we're going to try on this site and also in JSTOR. Okay, so let's see. They're talking about some of these other, for instance, Henry James' The Turn of the Screw. Now, this doesn't mention a Poe story like Fall of the House of Usher, but they do have, it's one that has an unreliable narrator. Okay, so I really like this as a nice, good idea of what narrators are about and how we should be very careful in how we make judgments about the narrator and the story that we're reading. So as long as you've got a pretty good idea of what to look for, and you can do a search just to like this is what is really, really good. Like I said, I'm kind of repeating myself, but Bloom's literature is really good about helping you navigate literature, um, and to understand and how to look for things, um, that we need to learn about literature. And it can kind of verify things that you're being taught in class. And also it can also tell you how to look at a piece of literature and determine some things that you may not have thought of while you were reading it, while you were reading the story. So let's go ahead and try another search. And in the LibGuide, I think I've taken one of these articles that talks about this very item, and I've placed it in the LibGuide to remind you. So you will see that. Um, anyway, let's go ahead and do a different. We want to go to a different type of search, just see what's available here. And it looks to me that advanced search is, we can give that a try. Okay, so we can, yeah, it's not terribly, you know, broken. It doesn't break things down very easy. We kind of have to use Boolean operators. So I'll show you that, how we're going to do that. So first of all, we want to use, in this one, I'm going to try Telltale Heart, even though you're doing Fall of the House of Usher. And I'm not going to put that dash in between the title. in between the two words. I'm just going to go with telltale heart. And if you notice, I put quotes there. I'm going to put a quote after the end of heart. Okay, so that means that it's going to search for all of those words in that exact order, because that is a title of one of our a story that Poe did, and you probably have read that one. And then I'm going to use, if you look here under Boolean operators, okay, we're going to tell it exactly what to look for. We're going to tell the search engine what to look for. Okay, and I like to use caps when I do that. Okay, so we're going to just use the word narrator instead of unreliable narrator. We're just going to make it a little bit simpler. We don't want to get too specific, otherwise, we might get too few results, too few articles for you. Okay, so we're telling it specifically what to look for. We want to tie these two concepts together, the story and a specific item to look for in the articles. Okay, so we got 25, 1 through 25 of 225. So we could narrow it down, but I like to just take a look at one of the first few items that comes up. So especially this book, this is an entire book that Harold Bloom wrote about how to write about specifically the telltale heart. And I can pretty much guarantee that there will be one about the fall of the House of Usher. Okay, so I would click on this one. Okay, so as you can see over on the side, table of contents, this is all about this whole book. It came in a print book and it's here online, and it's all about the telltale heart and how you should write about it. It's giving you ideas on what to look for, okay, and the kinds of things you might want to consider writing about. Okay, so this is a very good article to look at. All right, and again, you're not working on this particular story, but I just wanted to show you how it works when you do a search like that. So um, I always suggest that you visit Bloom's literature because it's it's almost written for high school students and also college students, and it's all about literature. So it's already tailored to what we're looking for. Yes, you're going to be searching in JSTOR as well, but JSTOR requires you to do a lot more at the front end of the database because it's so huge. And this one is really written for like a broader base of people, a broader base of students. It's not just meant for people working on their graduate degrees in literature. This is really good for high school students. At least to start out and get you started, you can get some ideas from reading these articles on Bloom's. Okay, and you can look through and go back to the results list if you want and find more. But anyway, let's go ahead and change it from Telltale Heart to Fall of the House of Usher. Oops. House of Usher. Okay, notice I leave the initial articles like the word the or a out of the titles. And we're going to try this one. Okay, so we got 52 items about this, and here is that one book on how to write about this story. Okay, and yes, you can come back and look at all of these as well. Okay. Okay, so here it is. And again, with Bloom's Guide, you can see how you can print it, you can save it, you can do the citation, and so on. Okay, how to write about the fall of the House of Usher. Okay, so here we go. This one, So here, right off in the second paragraph, one choice is to accept the narrator's account at face value and to conclude that events about supernatural escape from her tomb and so on. Okay, so that gives you an idea. I mean, you just look at the paragraphs and you go through here. All right, but do a very careful look. This is why it takes time to do your research. You can't wait till the last minute, till 3 days before this is due, and start looking. You should really start looking and, yes, reading. And then you may decide, hey, this is not quite for what I was thinking I wanted to do my paper on. Then you can make those choices, but you have to read through a lot of them before you make decisions on how many or which ones to use. Okay? So for right now, I'm going to stop and we'll see you on the next search. Thank you.